Every name you drop got roots in the grind. History speaks loud, just listen to the line. We struggle to shine, we honor the climb. Where losses hit deep, but sharp in the mind. Real don't flex, they just move with weight. Welcome to the legacy, room A-108, go to the legacy. Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Room A-108. I'm your host, David. Joining me, as always, my co-host, CJ. You got some stuff you want to talk about.
This episode is brought to you by the Tunnel Vision Network, the network that brings you the discourse by our guy, Will Marshall, my former teammate, and another alumni of Thornwood High School. For any of you Bears fans out there looking for extra content to watch, he just dropped an episode with an interview with Pat the Designer. If anybody who follows ESPN 1000, Fox 32, all you Bears fans, y'all know who Pat the Designer is. Go check out that episode, and appreciate the guys, Will Marshall for sure, and the guys over at Tunnel Vision Network with the collab and sponsoring this here episode. Good to see you, my boy.
It's been a little minute, man.
Been a minute. What's going on?
Life is life, and like we always say, life is life, and but you know, we actually got some things to talk about in Chicago these days, other than the Bears. So
things are up and to the right, it seems.
Yeah, finally, man. It's been. I can't tell you the last time where there's even a little bit of optimism in all the sports in Chicago. So
so since the last time we shot, draft has happened. Free agency is pretty much in full swing. The majority of the first stages of free agency, voluntary OTAs have kicked off. Far away from, voluntary OTAs and training camp, but as we sit here, rolling into June, how do you feel about where the Bears stand right now?
So we've had this discussion. I'm cautiously optimistic again, just like last year. Also, what's happened since?
Do we need to do the way too early win-loss game?
We can do that. I'm ready. I've done it like 8 times already. I was just about to say, since the last time we were on, they've released a schedule too. So I looked at the schedule. It's weird because we know who they're going to go against, months beforehand. But the schedule release is just different. You see the bye week, the matchups, primetime games. That stuff matters. And like you said, we're finishing the season with 4 bangers. So we'll get into that. But it's just cautious optimism. We'll get into it more. I'll elaborate what I mean by that. But it's our chance to prove it wasn't a fluke year. I'll just say that. And this is the year to do that.
For a team that, won the division, obviously went to the playoffs, won a playoff game, it's just weird that we're in a spot where I feel like the gap between the floor and the ceiling is still such a big gap, and they're banking on a lot of things that, for us, fingers crossed, we hoping that it comes through, whether it's left tackle, big question mark. For as many people that want to say just the edge rusher opposite of Montez Sweat is a question mark, I would combat you and say that the whole defensive line is a question mark. There's nobody on there that you can say that you got confidence in saying, hey, they showing up this year. Montez Sweat will give you one game where he's got, a sack and a half, 2 sacks, and a bunch of pressures, and then he goes MIA for 3 weeks. So Grady Jarrett, on the backside of his career, a little banged up last year. Javon Dexter, last year of his contract, what is he going to give you? And then, Austin Booker is a wild card at edge. I like him. Young, he's got a lot of talent, but it's just one of those things where we banking on a lot of upside, and we banking on players to hit, their ceiling, and we don't really know what their floor is, So it's a team that I wouldn't be surprised if they won 11 and 12 games again. Then I wouldn't be surprised if they were like 7 and 10 and missed the playoffs. Like it's too that gap is just it's too big in my opinion, bro.
Deja vu is the perfect way for me to describe it, man. And I've said it at least 3 times already, right? And we text all the time, especially like when it's draft day, schedule release day. We text, and when we were making our draft picks, and especially free agency, like we got complacent, right? We're very happy with what we have, but we lost a lot on our defensive side, especially. But we it's just it's tough, man. And like you said, we have the gaps that we didn't fit. The same holes we had last year, we still have this year, minus the quote unquote studs we had on the team. Now, I was able to take a step back and get out my feelings after a while because I'm not as upset losing like Byard, right? Just the core team, yeah, just because our defense was trash. So it's like, okay, why are we holding on to these guys when clearly they didn't help? So I shouldn't say that. It's not like, the defense very well could have been that much worse without them, but going a different direction. So I know they went speed. We got Bush. I know that'll help. We got Kobe, so I know that'll help. And then, drafting the Oregon kid in the first round, that'll help. Hopefully, if it pans out. And then, we're still banking on Kyler Gordon, where, it just came out today that soft tissue.
Once again.
Injured again. A different area. So it's not even the same lingering issue. Jaylen Johnson and Tyreek, man, it's gonna be on them to hold down that defensive backfield, and then the question mark, like you said, the defensive line lost DJ Moore. So now Rome's got to step up, Burden's got to step up, which can be blessings in disguise. But I'm just getting deja vu, man, and I'm hoping that the fact that we have better coaching, it's going to be a different outcome.
For as much as the defense was under a microscope. That sounded weird. My bad. Felt like that sounded crazy, didn't it, Amber? Did I say that? For as much as the defense was under a microscope last year going into this offseason, I do think that they got better on the back seven. I think the back seven got much better. You lose Byard and Brisker, two guys beloved by the city and by the fans, but you got younger and better, in my opinion. You got Kobe Bryant, who's coming over from a team that just won a Super Bowl. You bringing in uber athletic kid straight out of the draft from Oregon, and your corners, you upgrade at corner because you bring in guys back who missed last year. Whether that's Terrell Smith, who missed the whole last year. I think he torn ACL. I think for them, and if Kyler Gordon is at home doing too many Spider-Man backflips and he can't play, then you got to find a way to get him up out of here at some point. But Tremaine Edmonds is gone, but you bring in Devin Bush, more athletic. Edwards is going to be out, but you got somebody like DeMarco Jackson who's still going to be here, who filled in really nicely for him last year. You draft another linebacker that you hope to develop, but it's all, like we said, it's all going to depend on what you get from the defensive line. And yeah, DJ Moore is gone. I don't have any worries about Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. I think those two dudes are dogs for now and in the future. I think the biggest question mark out of all of them is the one you drafted the highest, and that's Rome. You got to bring 9th overall draft pick pedigree coming into this year.
Too many drops last year.
Too many drops. Too many easy drops, too. Yep. And that's the thing. Like, too many drops on balls right to him. Like, he does a pretty good job on 50-50 jump balls, but some of those passes that's right to him that we really need to move the chains, too many drops.
You got to do right by Bob Ross, man. He's got to do right by my man Bob. He dressed up as him in the schedule release video. They feeling
really good about Rome to just have him be the centerpiece of their schedule release. Like they know something we don't know is the thing that I said. That was my takeaway from the schedule release, that he was the one. He was the only one featured in it. They feeling really good about Rome. And I'm glad they do, and I hope that it turns out the way we all wanted to.
Because past years, it's kind of, they've always had some kind of theme where they have features from a little bit of everybody. And yeah, no, it was just him, just
wrong.
Bob Rossing it out. So I'm you can see he has the physical ability. There's no doubting that he has that. I just have a question mark about his, injuries. Is that going to be a problem? I think he was out far longer than. I mean, I say this I'm on the sidelines at home, just watching from my couch. But I mean, he was out for way too long for what seemed the issue that wasn't that big of a deal. I know they were just probably being safe, but is that a sign of what's to come? I don't know. I'm not overly worried about. I'm with you about losing DJ Moore. I'm not worried about Bird. Not worried about Colston. I'm really not even worried about Komet. I mean, I think Komet is not the receiving tight end that Loveland is, but he's still a strong part of the offense. But Rome, he's gonna have to. I mean, we're gonna need that third and short possession type receiver, someone that can get separation. So Burden is gonna do his thing, regardless yards after catch. He has his lane and he's gonna stay in it. But yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, also you always got to factor in. I mean, it happens to every team every year. I mean, injuries are gonna happen to star players. That was my biggest problem. Is I don't think we got. I don't think we have enough wiggle room for the way we acted in free agency this year. So there's still some studs out there that I would love for us to go after. I saw a rumor. I'm taking this for a grain of salt online, but saying the Bears should go after Debo. I'm like, hey, that wouldn't hurt. I mean, I think he would be. Only reason why I say that is because he's like a utility player that I can see Ben Johnson having a blast with. He can do a lot of things with him. I'm like, okay, that'd be someone that would just kind of add to the firepower.
I would combat you with this. I think with what you pie in the sky, what you think you would be getting by bringing in a Debo Samuel, I think that you can get that just by spreading it around between Khalif Raymond, who they brought in from Detroit, who has knowledge of Ben Johnson, whether that's Jade Walker, who's already been in the system last year, and then somebody like Xavier Thomas, who they just drafted from LSU, the 4-2 kid. I think you can get what you are expecting to get out of 31-year-old Debo Samuel. You could probably get out of a package of those three players who are going to be on your game day roster. You know what I'm saying?
Or what's his name? Raish.
Right. This is what I was going to pivot to, because we're pretty much 2 months removed from the draft, and I think both of us. I think I could speak for both of us on the first two draft picks. I think we both are cool with Dylan Thieneman, the safety. I think we both like the pick. I like it. I think you like it.
I don't hate it. I told you I didn't hate it. I don't think it was a need. Go ahead.
It was definitely a need.
But I'll let you finish.
Say it wasn't a need.
Well,
it was definitely a need.
So this was my logic, right? My at-home inner general manager. Draft. So because I already knew, I saw it happening. Because the way the draft works is they go on runs on position. And they were just starting to go on a run on edge rushers. And I was like, grab one now, and then we can get whatever other position you need in the second round. Like, I can't remember now, man. I mean, when I was in the trenches on online looking at the draft and everything, but I feel like drafting an edge with that second tier of safeties would have been better than drafting safety with that third or fourth tier of edge rushers. You know what I mean? But I see the rationale of, so the edge we would have drafted in the first round, it still would have been a question mark. Edge rushers are you never know these days. Some come in and make an impact right away. A lot of them don't. A lot of them need some time, like Booker for us.
Once you got past, once Ruben Bain went 15 and he was off the board, I think you got into the territory of now all of you're picking through a bunch of more so question marks. Because I think everybody that went at Ruben Bain's spot and before him are all guys that you banking on day one being an impact. Everybody after that, I think is kind of sort of question marks, developmental prospects. Maybe they don't hit the ground running week one, but maybe by back half of the first year into year two, maybe they start to contribute. But I was okay with, and I'll even put this on wax. I think the safety that Cleveland got has a higher ceiling. Emmanuel McNeil Warren,
Mm-hmm.
super uber toolsy, talented kid, speed, hit, all of that. I think he has a higher ceiling, and maybe we look back 3, 4, 5 years from now and we're like, "Damn, Bears could have got him." But I also think that Dylan Thieneman isn't a guy that's just gonna bust out to where we're like, "Damn," you know. I think he's gonna contribute. I think his floor may be a little bit higher than EMW, but I do think that that McNeil Warren ceiling at some point could be much higher than Dylan Thieneman. But that's neither here nor there. This isn't a Browns pod.
But so this was my thing, man, and like I said, I didn't hate it. It's not like so. Poles did. He told us what he was going to do. We're going to draft best available, and he completely disregarded need. Like there was, I mean, yeah, safety was a need, especially losing, Byard and Brisker. But I don't think
the question is whose need though. Not to cut you off, because we all say this as fans and as people who sit here doing the pod. But the thing that's been apparent to me is what we see as needs obviously doesn't line up with what Poles and the coaching staff sees as needs. So one of us is wrong, and one of us is going to be proven to be wrong, and we'll see. But obviously, the need debate, it doesn't match up. We're not seeing eye to eye.
But I mean, Ray Charles can see a need is defensive line, though. That's all. I mean, I feel you. I agree. But so I was arguing with somebody on Facebook because I remember they're just Bears can do no wrong. Everything they do is perfect, right? So I was arguing with them about the draft, and I'm like, you can have Jesus himself back there at DB. You can't cover somebody that long if you don't have any rush on the quarterback. It doesn't matter. So you can draft whoever you want at safety. They're going to look vulnerable. They're going to look suspect because they're going to have to stick somebody for 5-6 seconds, which is double the time that you're supposed to. So it's like you're drafting someone, but you're setting them up for failure. That's my only thing. It's like, okay. And the thing is, they didn't address it in free agency. So I'm like, oh, okay. We said it on here. We're like, oh, no free agency, D lineman studs. I mean, we got rotational players. And we both said, we're like, yeah, they're going to pick somebody up in the draft. I mean, before the draft started, if you had a FanDuel bet our first pick, would you have probably guessed D lineman, right?
Absolutely.
And if not first, second.
Mm-hmm.
Got to. We drafted our first D lineman in what, 5th, 6th round?
Honestly, if I would have, before the draft started, if I would have had to put some money down on what their first round pick would have been, I probably would have said either defensive lineman or they're just going to solve the left tackle debate and get a left tackle.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was cool with how it started to play out once, some of those tackles started coming off the board. And then once they started inching towards the Bears pick, I was like, I started feeling like it's going to be safety. Especially after the Vikings pick came and went and they didn't take safety. And I was like, okay, one or two of them is going to be there. Then they both were there. And I was like, yeah, Bears probably take the safety here. So, but after that, I think we both cool with anytime you can get, a center or offensive lineman with a wrestling background from Iowa. I think you cool with that.
I wasn't mad at the pick, but I mean, I'm assuming he's going to be a backup.
I would not be surprised if week one he's starting.
Really?
Would not be surprised. I don't think you take guys that high in the draft without visions of them potentially starting. Now, the guy that they just traded a 5th round pick from New England to get, he may be somebody that they ship off again. He may not take a snap for the Bears in the regular season. You may have another team in training camp that has an injury, and they say, "Hey, we'll give you a fifth. We'll recoup your fifth, or we'll give you a sixth or something just to get him." And they may be cool with that.
I think they picked him up just for the camaraderie he had with Tooney.
I think that's why I think they got him, because he was a solid vet. The connection with Tooney helps, but you got to get somebody in place before the draft happens, because you don't know what the draft is going to entail. You don't know what the other teams are going to do. There's no guarantee that somebody like Logan Jones is going to be there for you to draft him in the second round. But since he is there, okay, cool. Now we got two. But they're going to battle it out in camp, and I wouldn't be surprised if come week one, the rookie is starting, and I wouldn't be surprised if Bradbury isn't even on the roster, come week one.
The only reason, because I'm sure the upside of Jones is going to be a lot higher. The only reason why I say I don't think he'll start week one is because besides quarterback, it's debatable on who needs to be the smartest person on the field between the center and the middle linebacker. You got to know everybody's position. Everybody's got to be on the same page. And you have that veteran in there that has seen these different National Football League fronts, something that the rookie is not. I mean, I'm not saying he's foreign to it, but he just hasn't seen what he has. So that's the only reason why I say it might be a little harder for him. It's that center position, man.
Him and Caleb they're closer in age than Caleb and Bradbury are. They probably speak the game, in a more familiar manner than the vet would. So if he comes in and he just blows everybody's mind and he's just killing it, I don't think Ben is dumb enough to be like, no, we just still got to just start the vet just off top just because he's a vet.
I agree, and I'm saying if he outshines, play the best player. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying I don't, and I wouldn't even be mad if he didn't, because it's not even with him and Caleb. It's him and the other offensive linemen, because now you got veterans next to you, and you're a rookie, and you go to you yell, hey, slide right. They're looking at you like, what the hell you talking about, slide right? No, you got an A-gap person. Like, no. So I'm just speaking on stuff like, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm just saying I think it's when we drafted him, I'm like, he'll probably be a backup. I did see a lot of tape on him. Everybody had nothing but, I mean, he was the best center in the draft.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
there's a lot of reports coming out of a lot of teams that were picking, in those picks right after the Bears were pissed off that he wasn't there anymore. Yeah, I mean, and which is always a good thing to hear, that you took somebody that a lot of teams were, scratching and clawing to get, and probably even
our first round pick too.
Probably even made calls to the Bears to try to trade up to get him, and the Bears were like, nah, man, we taking him.
Yeah, but we took the long route but yes, I agree. I wasn't mad at those picks. It wasn't the pick that I thought we were going to get, but I wasn't mad at those picks.
Before we move on to, this is May. This is summertime. It's my favorite sports season. Before we move on, you alluded to it a little bit before, but now that 2 months have passed, have we cooled down a little bit on the drafting of the tight end, the third tight end?
No,
you still pissed about it?
Yeah, super pissed about it.
I've come around a little bit, bro. I've come around a little bit only because I started watching some tape on him, started listening to Ben and some other people talk about him. Looked at his measurables and all of that. He's a beast, dude. He's gonna block his ass off. I've seen clips of him blocking two people at the same time, like big 6'7", 6'8" tight end that moves well. I think he's gonna contribute. Would I have liked to see them go another route with that pick? Yes, I still do think that they could have and should have went another route with that pick. But I'm not I'm not a cartoon pissed off with the smoke coming out of my ears anymore like I was.
I'm hot, bro. I'm still hot.
Because I was down in Mississippi for the draft. So I was texting you from down there, and I was just sitting there like, a tight end?
I feel like we're gonna
text you that like, oh damn, tight end.
I feel like we're gonna draft a tight end every single year.
Just because that's Ben's bag, bro. That's where he broke into the league coaching. That's his original position group down in Miami. He was coaching tight ends, came to Detroit coaching tight ends before he moved on to OC, and he got a soft spot for the position, bro.
This is why I don't like it, Right. I'm sorry, man. I've tried to come around. I'm not saying, and this is, I feel the same way about like, I'm gonna come full circle.
Hey, be careful. We gonna play this clip at Sam Roush's Hall of Fame induction of David
Cool.
Galvin.
That's what I'm gonna preface this. That's what I'm gonna preface this. I put him in the same realm of my reaction as Trubisky, right? I didn't hate Trubisky, right? I wanted him to succeed. I didn't dislike him, but it wasn't his fault that he got drafted in that position, right? So I'm not gonna hold it against him because I think the Bears messed up. I'm gonna hope he does good, and I'm gonna hope he does an amazing job. My point is, at that point in the draft, like you said, we could have drafted something else. I think we could have got somebody in free agency that is just as good as he was and skipped on that draft pick. I mean, he wasn't all the mock drafts that I did. I mean, I'm not saying that, the AI knows how to pick better than, I'm just saying the feedback that I was looking at, no one said he just stood out, right? No one was like, oh, this guy is a stud. You have to get him. So sitting there in the third round, they're just looking, they're like, yep, that's the bag right there. I'm like, no, like why? Just go draft. You can literally go sign a free agent that's available right now. That's probably just as good as he is.
I think that pick, the only thing that I feel like for certain that pick shows you is that the kind of the influence that Ben has on these decisions, because if it wasn't Ben Johnson as a head coach, I don't think that he's getting drafted right there. What despite what he may turn into and his measurables and talent, blah, 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 I think that just based off of what the team needs, if Ben Johnson isn't the head coach, I would almost argue that it's a guarantee that that's a defensive pick. Defensive lineman, edge rusher, somebody, because after he went, there was still some edge rushers on the board that a lot of people were still were high on, but I think that just goes to show that at the end of the day, Ben is, probably, ultimate decision maker on roster construction.
Which is refreshing because I think it's good. Sometimes not too much though, but I think it's good that the coach has that much impact on the draft because at the end of the day, you're the one that's coaching the team that's out on the field. So, yes, I don't like the pick. I think it was a wasted pick. We didn't address needs. We added to something that we didn't need. But I digress. I mean, when I say I'm mad about it, I'm not losing sleep over it. It's just, I'm just like, why are you here? Like, dude, whatever. No shade, man. If for some reason he watches this podcast, I'm not dogging you, man. I hope you do well. It's
you still welcome to come on the podcast.
Anytime. A-108 welcomes you open arms.
You want to move on to something that's going to make you feel a little bit better?
What's that?
White Sox back, baby.
So I was talking about this earlier today.
White Sox back, baby.
I was talking about this earlier today. I'm like, we were so bad that a 500 season got me hyped. That's how it's different in baseball though. 500 really is still a solid.
Sure, man.
So, but no, I mean, we text each other and this is before we even were 500. And I think we were only like a game and a half or 2 games out of first. And we were like 4 or 5 games below 500. And I was like, man, is our division that bad? Or are we just playing that good? And I think it's a combination, a little bit of both.
Sure. I would give it 70-30 that Sox are playing really good baseball, bro.
Yeah, they got one of the better offenses right now, at least in our division. But I've been watching more games. Admittedly, so man, I couldn't even watch games anymore. Bowls too. It's just when teams get that, especially Reinsdorf run teams start doing that bad, I'm just like, man, I can't even support the product anymore. I hope they do well, but I'm just nervous, because I'm getting more deja vu. Because not that long ago we had Tim Anderson, Eloy, we had all these young guys, man, and I'm like, man, the Field of Dreams game, first of all, is one of the more fun games I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely. Top 5 in my lifetime.
It was amazing. And then watching that team, I'm like, man, this dynasty. Like literally I was saying the word dynasty. And to see that team end up the way it did is one of the most heartbreaking things. It's second only to the Derrick Rose-led Bulls as far as heartbreaking teams that didn't get to where I thought they were going to be. So I just hope this team doesn't go down that route because we're loaded with young talent again. Loaded.
I think the difference that I see between that young core, if you want to use the term core, that young core and this one right now is these young dudes play hard nonstop, bro. You weren't getting that with the Tim Anderson led White Sox. T.A., Moncada, Eloy, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal. You're talking about within 2 or 3 years, the majority of those guys are out of baseball, bro. Like, Moncada is still playing. He's out there with the Angels. But T.A., out of the game.
He was never the same after he got knocked out.
Abreu, absolutely. Abreu, out of the game. Eloy bounced around between different teams, minor league systems. As far as I know, out of the game. You know, and it's sad that for a team that was so exciting to watch just a handful of years ago, the majority of those dudes are out of the game, and they not even 30 years old. You're talking about young dudes, mid-20s, not even 28, 29 years old yet, and they out of the game. But this young batch of kids, and it's crazy. I'm at that age now where I call
20-year-old kids.
But this batch of guys, man, whether it's Kosa Montgomery, whether it's Murakami, whether it's Antonacci, Teal, Vargas, like these dudes play hard every single game, you know, and you're not getting that let off. And we got a manager who's actually holding people accountable. Will Venable, former player, former bench coach for a Hall of Fame manager, and Bruce Bochy. That's somebody who's going to hold people accountable, not some passed out, drunk has-been Tony La Russa who hasn't, you know, coached a game in a decade and he's brought back to the dugout by his best friend. Like, this is so much, this is so far and beyond what we were watching.
I don't want to cut you off.
Just a few years ago, bro.
But I've been getting memories in Facebook for like the last 2 weeks about La Russa. And it's been pissing me off all over again because I was so mad when we got him. But go ahead, man.
I'm just glad that we're finally at a point where we actually can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You've got a team that's playing hard. You got young kids playing hard with a bunch of talent. And we also have an actual concrete deadline of when we know by bare minimum when Jerry Reinsdorf is not going to be owning his team anymore. There's a transition of power that's written in stone. There's signatures on it. We know that at some point in the next few years, Jerry is going bye-bye, whether that's by the man or, you know, by anybody.
Yep.
You know, so he's out of here soon. And it's good as fans to have that shining light at the end of the tunnel to look for and be like, man, we got something to look for in a few years, and we got something to look forward to now. And they take 2 out of 3 from the Cubs.
I was going to lead to that.
I know that made you feel good. I know that made my brothers feel, especially Joe. Like Joe. So, yeah, man.
The way it happened too, right? I mean, it couldn't have been more dramatic, you know, final game of that series.
One of the best, I would argue, one of the best 3-game crosstown series in my lifetime. I know that might be revisionist history or recency bias or whatever you want to call it, but the way that you got the Cubs win game 1 by 5, Sox come back and win game 2 by 5. So the run differential is even. Then they come back in game 3 and win by 1. So
in extra innings.
Walk
off.
So it went back and forth, and yeah, man. One of the best that I can think of.
What made it great too is that you can kind of see the rivalry within the players on the field from both sides, you know, like
the players, the fans,
yeah,
the stuff that happened out there with PCA, all of that. I love it.
At first I was mad.
Dude, I'm not even a Cubs fan. I'm a White Sox fan.
Yeah,
I love the way PCA plays the game. Plays it hard. Wears his emotion on his sleeve. Talks garbage. You know, he's out there giving it to the fans. as they're giving it right back. And I love every part about that. I told all of my Cubs fans whatever, online. Like, this is what, the Cubs and the Sox series is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about, the players finally coming and not having the old cliche, well, it's just another game. Because they didn't have nothing to play for.
And you know what? And it's mostly Cubs fans that say it too, but they're always like, oh, it's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. That's BS, right? It's whenever you have two teams from the same city and they go against, of course, it's not the same thing as like them and the Cardinals, right? I get that. But at the same time, this is your hometown and you got them bragging rights for a full year. And it's they're going to play hard. You know what I mean? So it means something. And that's just that dismissive. But what I did like was the camaraderie we had with the Green Bay Sucks chant in the middle of the game from both Cubs.
I hate it, bro.
Really?
I hate it.
Why?
I hate every part about it. I hate it.
Oh, man, I got to hear this.
I'm going to be the one that's going to sit here and say how much I hate it. I hate that we've got to this point where the Packers have beat our ass so badly that they're on our brain in the offseason.
Rent-free.
They're on our brain while we're playing baseball in the city. They're on our brain while the season is going on and we're playing another team. Because I've been to games down there at Soldier Field, and you walk through the tunnel and they're not even playing the Packers, and people are down there in the tunnel chanting Green Bay sucks. That just goes to show you how much of an ass beating we've been taken by the Packers for decades. And I'm tired of them being on our brains.
Trauma bonding.
On days and on weeks that they shouldn't be on our brain, bro. I'm tired of it.
This is sad, but funny at the same time, bro. This is how bad I have it, okay? I don't know if you ever come across these on YouTube, but sometimes I get caught in these YouTube video tunnels, right? And I'll just end up just going down these weird paths. And I end up going down like video game simulations, right? Where people put these all-time great teams together, like the all-time great Bears versus the whatever. And they have all these different scenarios and they simulate a whole season. After I look and see how good the Bears do, what's the first thing I look for after that? To see how damn bad the Packers did. That's how bad it is. I have it. We're trauma bonding. So I feel what you're saying, but it's there. I can't, until we put our foot on their throats, right? And kind of do to them what they did to us. I think that's just going to be what it is with us, man. And I feel you. I don't like that happens to me. I hate that.
I hate it. The Packers are not even on my mind other than 2 weeks out of the year when we play them. They're not close enough vicinity-wise for me to have any interaction with them and their fans other than, on social media. But I don't even have enough friends that come through my algorithm for me to even have back and forth with Packer fans. So it's like, I'm tired of it. Like, let's just get to a point where we're putting, consistent and respectable football on the field year after year, where we don't have to keep going to this default Green Bay sucks chants all of the time in this city when we're not even playing them. That just is, I don't know, man.
But
would we be in the 90s in the middle of the Bulls dynasty or immediately after the Bulls dynasty chanting the Knicks suck or the Pistons suck or any other teams that we've been whooping on? Would we be chanting that in Chicago?
Well, the only reason
Pacers suck.
I'm gonna answer no.
If somebody want to drop in the comments and prove me wrong and say, "Nah, CJ, we did do that," I'll gladly get back on here next time. But hey, I was wrong.
But they don't have somebody that's is so. The only reason, and I agree, that doesn't happen anywhere else. But I would say, like I said, besides Michigan and Ohio State, it's probably the longest running rivalry in all sports. You got Yankees, Red Sox. I bet you they do it. I bet you hear Yankees and Red Sox fans saying so and so sucks, like whatever. So I just think that has something to do with it. It's such a storied history. I mean, it's we're gonna play 2 times a year at least, no matter what. So I think that's more so what it is. I mean, the Bulls, we don't. I mean, it's seasons, right? It's whoever's good at that time.
The only problem with Yankees and Red Sox are in the same division. Like, they play each other just as many times as the White Sox play the Guardians. They're in the same division. They see each other all the time.
Right.
So I don't know.
So do Bears, and that's what I'm saying.
I may
so do
be
Bears
a minority on this, but I'm just tired of it, bro.
No, so but I agree with you.
I just feel so squirmy about it every time I hear it. I'm just like, oh, we just come off like sore losers. Like, they've been beating our ass, bro. constantly sitting here talking about Green Bay sucks. No, they don't. They've been whooping us.
Suck, bro.
They've been whooping us. How do they suck? And they've been
Because
whooping
we suck
us.
worse. So
We finally get on.
let me piggyback.
All right,
I got to piggyback off this just a little bit, man. Well, first of all, I just like the fact that I don't like Cubs. I always said this. I don't mind Cubs. I don't like Cubs fans, right? I just thought it was cool that in the middle of the game, we could all come together and agree, like, hey, we may not like each other, but we really don't like them. But I had like an epiphany, man, especially on social media. Most of the Bears fans that piss me off are Cubs fans. That's what I realized. Like, it's the Cubs fans, Bears fans that irritate me. Because I started thinking about on my at least my algorithm, all the people that are Sox fans that are Bears fans, I can go through a name. I'm not gonna go through that, but like most of the people that I see, I'm like, okay, I can have a level-headed conversation and debate. It's the Cubs fans that are Bears fans that piss me off. And I was like, man, it's just you are just all around bad for Chicago. So I had that epiphany, man, and I hate Cubs even more now. Making Chicago Bears look bad, man.
I had wanted to kind of touch on the Bulls. We can push that if you wanted to.
Well,
maybe we can push it at the end because they're so irrelevant, bro. But I do have a basketball question. If it circles back to the Bulls, we'll get to it.
Got you.
How do you feel about the responsibility of media members and people who cover sports and kind of like the way that they're supposed to cover the game and their relationship with athletes? And I ask you that because we recently saw Stephen A. Smith and Jaylen Brown going at it back and forth. It's just like, obviously, sports media people and people in Stephen A.'s position wouldn't be who they are without the game. You know, you got to have the game to cover the game. So what did you think about that? And like, where do you stand on kind of that back and forth between people like Stephen A. Smith and athletes who constantly go at him?
So, and I told you I was kind of diving into that before I came in here. I was just kind of seeing both sides. We had talked about it earlier, but I think it's bigger than just sports media. It's media in general that really like gets under my skin, because we're in an age now, especially with social media and everything, where this is what Jaylen Brown was alluding to. Everything is clickbait, hot takes and clickbait. You know, and that's everything. And it really, really, really irks me, man. Whether it comes to politics, whether it comes to anything, man, social issues, anything, it's all, what can I say that'll rile people up for me to get clicks? No matter what side it's on, for anything. Like, I'm going to have this opinion, and it's so obvious these days that people just do it for clicks. Specifically for this, man, it's with the Stephen A. Jaylen Brown situation. So I see both sides to an extent. I lean Jaylen Brown. But the only reason why the only issue I have with Jaylen Brown is he only came at Stephen A. And if you watch that episode, everybody else had something to say about him. Granted, to his defense, the other two people that commented are former players. So he respects their decision. And I'm sorry, respects their opinion, which I get. They shared the court. They were actually NBA players. So anything they say is valid from his perspective. Stephen A. is a journalist, right? So his thing was, he only kind of aimed at Stephen A. That was my only issue with Jaylen Brown. But besides that, Stephen A., he's, so Max Kellerman has said this in the past, man. He sets up the show for him to look like the hot take person. That's the way the show is formed. That's the way it's made. That's the big like issue that they had when they were on First Take. But he got personal, right? That's my thing. If you're going to be a journalist, cool. Be a journalist, comment on his play or whatever. But then he started taking digs at, oh, well, Jason Tatum wasn't on your podcast, but he came on our show or whatever. Like, and, oh, you want to keep going down here? I can tell people how the locker room really feels about you or whatever. Like, he got petty, you know? And I think in Jaylen's defense, and I even seen Carmelo talk about this. Like, everybody has a platform now. They don't need the media to get their voice out anymore. Like, back in the day, the 90s, you didn't hear about any of the superstars unless you heard it through the media, which is post-game interviews, pre-game interviews. People have their own platforms now, and they can create their own narrative. So, to Jaylen Brown's defense, is like, man, you don't have to look at me through, Stephen A's lens where he's trying to minimize him as a person instead of a player. That's what I got out of it, man. I don't like how Stephen A came at him personally. He got petty, and I think, he's gotten to a point now where I think he's the highest paid sports commentator in of all time. So his ego, I know he's flirted with talking about running for president coming up in 2028. So, I mean, I'm sure he's riding his high horse right now too. But that's just where I got out of it, man, from that whole thing. What about you, man?
I think I'll start by saying, like, I respect kind of where Stephen A has gotten to in his career. Anybody who's put the time in, as a columnist,
Yep.
Starting back in the 80s and covering all of the people that he's covered, from Allen Iverson to Kobe to Mike, all of the people that he's covered. Like, I respect the work he's put into, that's gotten him to where he's at now. Kind of agree with you on, like, the petty kind of personal kind of shots that he takes at times. Because, like I said before, just because I respect the work that you've put in doesn't negate the fact that these men had to do something. These men and women of the sports that you're covering, they have to give you something to cover.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So without them and their talents and their accomplishments, what are you getting on TV talking about? I think some of his higher aspirations in the last few years have fueled even more the need to be clickbaity and to constantly be just in the limelight. The thing that I got a problem with Jaylen Brown is, kind of like you said, Stephen A wasn't the only person saying the things that he was saying. So it's kind of like you hopping on your feed, on your Twitch feed, on your channel, and you're going to attack the one person that you know is going to draw the most traffic back to your feed. You know what I'm saying? Because if Joe Schmo on a lower, another pod that doesn't get the views that First Take does, if he says the same thing that Stephen A says, you're not going to combat him. You're going to combat the one that's going to drive the most views back to your channel. So, and that's the thing that it's a fight back and forth of, how can we get the most clicks? How can we get the most comments? I can get more people on my side than you have on your side? And none of it at this point feels organic, or, it's not healthy. It's not just refreshing debate of my honest and pure opinion against yours. It's my opinion that's been formulated by a bunch of people that I got to skew it in a way to get a bunch of people on my side. It's not really the way I feel.
Who gets the most click? Who gets the most views for their video?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I watched both in their entirety. And then also Stephen A. He even commented. He was like, "You making all this money, man? Get you a studio. You don't even have a studio. You're just sitting in your." And I was just like, but I thought the same thing at first, because when I watched what Stephen A. said first, I'm like, why is he not going at these other? And Stephen A. touched on that too, because he was like, Perk and Jay, they both had something to say too, and they said the same thing. And I was like, okay. And if you heard Jaylen Brown, he was like, it's because they're former NBA players. KD does it all the time, right? He hates when people that didn't play the game have something to say about his game. Hates it. And he's very, very boisterous about that. So he'll comment on it. But Jaylen Brown ain't the only one, man.
If that's the hill that you want to die on, I'll respect it.
Yeah.
The minute I won't respect it is if you turn coat and now your playing career is over and now you want to hop in a damn booth and now you want to talk about everything other than what you did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of what Cam Newton alluded to before. I forgot what he was talking about, but it was like, everybody that's talking about the game didn't play the game. It's not how this works.
Yeah.
I can respect your opinion and I can respect you about it. But the thing that's going to make me upset is if you a former basketball player and you spent your whole career hooping and you spent your whole career looking down on everybody that's covering a game that didn't play, don't retire. And now you hop in the studio
And try to be one of them.
and now you want to talk about baseball.
Yeah.
And now you want to talk about football. No. I thought you didn't respect people that didn't play the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Because when you enter that field and you enter the media space, you're going to have to talk about stuff, not all the time, but there's a chance that you're going to have to talk about other things other than the sport that you used to play.
Yeah.
So stand on that. What you said before when you was playing the game, stand on it.
Yep.
I don't want to hear you talking about baseball. I don't want to hear you talking about tennis, golf, none of that. If you a hooper and you died on that hill about not wanting to respect nobody who didn't hoop, then I don't want to hear you talking about no goddamn football, no baseball, none of that. Get your ass on camera and just talk about hoops then.
Yep. No, I agree, man. Hypocrisy, man, is
Sure.
real. Yeah. So that was interesting, man. I like I said, I was dove deep into that earlier today because I wasn't even really familiar with it. The situation that had happened. Besides Chicago sports, man, I've been a little bit out of the loop with everything. But
Man, we such a insatiable society, bro. Like nothing is ever enough, you know. And me and my brother were just talking about this a few hours ago. Like, I was at my son's baseball game yesterday, and I got a Bleacher Report notification that Kyle Busch passed away.
Yep.
Legendary NASCAR driver.
41, still young.
41,
Yeah.
super young, man. RIP to him and condolences to his family.
Yeah.
But it's like I see that notification come across my phone, and then I go into the Facebook app. You know who the first person I see that was reporting on Kyle Busch's death? Adam Schefter.
Yes, bro. Me too, man. Me too. That's crazy. Yeah.
It kind of it rubbed me the wrong way because it's like, dude, you got a whole career covering football.
Yep.
You know, and it just makes me feel like we as a society, especially, I don't know about other countries, I don't live there, but it just seems like in this country, like nothing is ever enough, bro. That man could have a $5 billion net worth with 4 billion followers and he's still gonna want more. You know, like why not just stay in your lane, cover what you're paid to cover, and let, you know, the NASCAR reporters or the people close to his family report on his death.
It's the greed, man.
But it's like, man, it rubs me the wrong way every time I see that dude pop up on my feed and he's talking about something other than NFL news. He does it all the time. Like he'll report a damn NHL trade. And I'll be like, dude, I don't want to hear it. I don't care what Adam Schefter thinks about the Avalanche and the Blackhawks making a trade.
I didn't even process that, but I swear, man, same thing. I first saw it from Adam Schefter. He reported it, man. I was looking, I was like, because I was so focused on, I was like, oh man, you know, Bush passed. I didn't even pay attention to it, and I was. Now that you bring it up, I'm like, yeah, what the hell is he doing?
Nothing is ever enough in this country, bro. Like
that's crazy.
You got a spouse. This country has kind of subconsciously instilled in all of us from a very young age that whatever you got, you can always have more. Whatever you got, you can always have better. You know? And it's like nobody ever wants to just be comfortable or be, you know, content with, you know, living a comfortable life. It's always got to be this next plateau to get to. And it's like, come on, man. Like everybody ain't got to, you know, grind to the very end of their days, bro. We don't have to be, all of us ain't got to be entrepreneurs grinding until we 90 years old, bro. Like it's okay to have a job, a 9 to 5 and raise a family and be cool. Like we ain't got to constantly keep chasing what's next. Like,
man, there's plenty to go around. We can all eat comfortably.
Sure, bro.
All eat comfortably.
Yeah, man. It just threw me off. I'm like, I don't it reminded me of remember Dave the Chappelle show with Dave Chappelle was like, where's Ja? Talking about 9/11.
9/11.
Nobody cares what Ja Rule has to say about 9/11. That's what I
may have some questions that Ja can't answer right now.
Man, that's what I thought about yesterday when I saw that news come across and it was like Adam Schefter. I'm like, I don't give a damn what Adam Schefter has to report about Kyle Busch passing away. Like, go back in your bunker and go
wait till football
dig up some NFL news, bro. I don't give a damn what you got to say right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy that you brought that up because I mean it's wild. It, like I said, the same with me, and it didn't even process. Man, that's crazy, crazy stuff, man. Do you want to touch on the Bulls a little bit before we head out?
Oh,
Just who would you like us to? Do you want us to stay at 4, move up?
oh yeah. I mean, unless there's been some wild trades speculated out there with like Memphis and
Ja.
some stuff with Ja coming back and them trying to get off of his contract. But I'm okay with them staying at 4, and whatever happens in front of them. My pie in the sky scenario is Peterson falling. I know a lot of people got a lot of things to say about him, but I think he's the most talented player in the draft. And after that is Caleb Wilson from North Carolina for me. So hopefully between one of those two is there for them at 4, and that's who we go forward with, man. But
I see Boozer falling to 4 to us though, man. And that's the one I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we got him, but I would definitely it's definitely power 4.
he'd be the one that you'd be the least excited about out of the 4.
I don't see him being a franchise
Only
player.
because I think he has really good floor. Ceiling is capped. I mean, he's a 6'8" undersized power forward
And he lost that game.
who doesn't have. I mean,
He lost
when
that
you're
game
talking
for him,
about
man.
somebody who's stuck, who doesn't really have a position between the 3 and the 4, he's undersized at 4 and he's too slow at 3. So yeah, some team will find somewhere to put him, and they'll get a lot out of him. He's probably a double waiting to happen as soon as he starts. But
Yeah.
is he a franchise changer that you looking for when you drafting, top 3, top 4? I don't know, man. I would much rather have the super athleticism of somebody like Caleb Wilson, the offensive prowess of Darren Peterson. Like those are dudes that you can plug into your starting 5 and be like, we know that going forward our 5 starts with him.
Yeah.
Not because if you're not putting Boozer in your 5 and that's your top dog.
Right.
That's somebody that's gonna be a complementary piece.
Yep.
DeBanza, Peterson, Wilson, those are 3 dudes who could ultimately end up leading your franchise into the future, bro.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was looking at mock drafts earlier.
I think there's dudes after that. Like Darius Acuff from Arkansas could probably be somebody who has a bigger impact on the team going forward than Boozer. And I know it sounds bogus and it's not to slander or besmirch his name at all, man, because it comes from good pedigree.
Now, if he were to fall, I wouldn't mind us getting him at 15. That would be it. But I mean, he would have to really fall for that. But that would be how I think he'll be in the NBA, which I can be completely wrong, which I'm wrong all the damn time. I think that 15 spot will more suit him. I'm probably a little higher, but I'm just saying.
If DeBanza, Peterson, and Wilson all went 1, 2, 3, and you sitting there at 4 as the Bulls staring at Carlos Boozer, you should be hoping and praying another team is calling you because they want him that bad to trade up.
Yeah, I agree.
And you can go down to whether that's 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, recoup some more picks, and just get it. I just don't see him being somebody that you're looking at 4. Like I have to have him, especially
or trade up.
Yeah, for sure. But especially in a position that the Bulls are with all of the damn turmoil around that organization, that's not somebody that you looking to draft and be like, he's going to be the one to lead us through this shit show. You know what I'm saying? Like you need a bona fide star that you can hang in. I could be wrong, bro. Been wrong, like you just said. Been wrong before. Gonna be wrong again.
A lot.
But yeah, like I said, if DeBanza, Peterson, and Wilson are all gone 1, 2, 3, I would hope and pray that the Bulls are sitting there fielding calls from somebody who just wants Boozer that bad that, hey, we'll give you another pick to jump up 2 spots or to jump up 3 spots.
Before we sign off, they give you the option. Who's your head coach for the Bulls? I know I put you on the hot seat, man.
I haven't done enough digging and research to really think about who's out there that they could grab. I don't know, man. I just know I'll be happy if the reports are it's somebody from a well-established and a successful organization.
So it looks like, I mean, everywhere you look, which it never usually ends up that way, except for the Bears a few years ago with Ben Johnson. But um, the front runners are I think it's Sean Sweeney from the Spurs. He's their assistant coach, and I forget the guy's name for the life of me, man. OKC's assistant coach, who's got a strong reputation, and a lot of teams are interviewing both of those guys for their head coaching vacancies. Jerry Stackhouse is the name I've heard, and Jason Kidd just got fired. I wouldn't mind Jason Kidd, man.
I don't know, man. Jason Kidd had a couple stops now. Less than, not nothing to write home about. I will say that
Made the finals.
anybody that you can grab and poach away from the Spurs, I think is a good move to make. Even after Pop, got sick, out of the blue, and they ended up handing the job over to Mitch Johnson. There was a bunch of question marks about who Mitch Johnson was and what he was going to be able to do, and now he's sitting here tied 1-1 going into tonight with OKC with a dynasty. So if you can get somebody from that staff, hey, I'll be all for it. Anybody from OKC, all for it. Anybody from Boston, all for it.
Give me.
I just don't want to sit here a couple weeks from now and hear that they hired somebody from the damn Wizards or something.
I've heard rumblings of thinking about getting Thibodeau again, but I think it's when you get a clean slate, new front office and everything, go young, go new, get a young up and coming high prospect coach that's respectable around the league, and go from there. I mean, it worked I don't want Tibbs to come back, but I love Tibbs as a coach when he was here. And that's exactly what he was. I mean, he wasn't necessarily young.
If you bring Tibbs back and you find somewhere to ship Giddey off to, I'll be all right with it.
You want Giddey here no more, man?
No, not with Tibbs. That ain't gonna work.
Oh yeah,
Giddey don't play no defense.
You don't play no defense.
You got to give Tibbs a young, super athletic team that he can mold. That's gonna play both sides of the ball for 48 minutes, and hopefully at some point he's learned over the years that guys can't play the 48 minutes. But that's what he's gonna want, and then hopefully he's learned that you got to dial that back to like 40, 41 every once in a while. But you can do far worse than Tom Thibodeau.
Oh no, I wouldn't. This is no disrespect to Thibodeau, because I think we shouldn't have fired him to begin with. I mean, he had his flaws or whatever, but I mean, the players loved him. Even now, when you hear that the team of the Rose era, man, I mean, he stood up in Rose's wedding, right? Thibodeau, or I know he was there.
Okay,
I know he was there. I think he stood up in his wedding, man. I think he was one of the groomsmen. I could be wrong, but I know he was at the wedding or whatever. So I know he was a big impact on Rose, but I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I don't dislike Tibbs. I just think that chapter is done. Let's move on to some. I don't want a coach, a washed up coach. I shouldn't say washed up, but a coach that didn't really make it anywhere else, and they've had their chance. Let's start clean. Let's see. I mean, also no Hoibergs over here either. I don't want that. But yeah, go Sweeney. I'm cool with that. Announce that tomorrow, right before the draft. Let him have an input on, make that announcement ASAP. I'm cool with it. And I got to look it up, but I forgot Buddy's name from OKC. Also, I mean, I know he said he's not going anywhere in college, but Dusty May, you said he's going to go to Orlando. How would you feel about him coming here?
He's staying at Michigan.
He said no.
That Orlando job is Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
I think we all know that. I reported that. I'm an insider now. I reported that like 2 months ago.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. You didn't say Dusty May. I said that I heard that it was Dusty May was going to be.
I said Billy Donovan. Saying that Billy Donovan is going to be the Orlando Magic's coach. Yali, come to my page, give me my flowers when that news hits the feed. It's going to happen.
Good luck to them.
But yeah, I think Dusty May got too much of a good thing going at Michigan right now, man, for it to leave with, I don't know.
I'm sorry, did I get a chance to celebrate my team winning the national championship?
All right, man. Appreciate y'all, man. That's another.
Admittedly so, man. I mean, I when it comes to basketball, I'm gonna root for Michigan. I'm a Michigan football diehard fan. I'm not. I didn't watch a single Michigan basketball game until it came March Madness time. I don't watch any college basketball, but I mean, of course, like if Miami was making a run, and you're gonna root for Miami, right?
Oh yeah, I keep tabs. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I watch regular season games. I keep tabs on them to see how they doing, and if they looking like they can make a run, then once the tournament
you're gonna root for them, right?
Around, oh yeah, I'll
Yeah,
be tuning
that's
into
how I
the
am.
games for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think either one of us are as big of college basketball fans as we are college football fans.
No. I just wanted to say, hey, I mean, anytime Michigan wins, man, I gotta throw that out there, man. Go blue.
Sure, man. I got you, bro. Do your thing.
Anything else you want to add in, man? So, just before we head out, we took a little time off. We did the same thing last year. We say this all the time, but we're two family men, full-time jobs. We have our own stuff we got going on. There's a lot that goes into these podcasts, right? I mean, there's so much that happens behind the scenes. We don't just sit here and talk in front of a mic for an hour once every other week or once a week and call it a day. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. So it involves a lot of work behind the scenes. So sometimes we need that time to decompress, take care of things away from here. And it's good to take breaks. I mean, we're not ESPN. We're not here every single day doing that now. So, but we both talked, and this is something that we're going to be more consistent going forward now again. So this can be considered going into quote unquote our third-ish season coming around.
Third season, baby.
So
season.
You can expect more things coming. Good things coming. So stay tuned. Is there anything else you want to add in before we head out?
For sure.
No, it's good to be back, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So until next time, appreciate you all stopping by. Roommate 108.
Yes, sir.
108.